Hi everyone, today we talk about is Costco a buy? And this is after Costco reported earnings, which were pretty decent. We're going to have a look into the earnings, what they reported, then we'll talk about a couple of fundamentals of the company overall, and then we're going to talk about if I think it's a buy or not, and if I recommend it as a buy. If you don't know what Costco is, basically Costco is pretty much a wholesaler, and it's kind of like a membership only kind of thing. I think most people watching this video probably have a good idea what Costco is, but if you don't know, it's a retail company, but it's a bit different just slightly with the wholesale side of it, and you've got to be a member to actually buy from it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look into the earnings now and see how they did. So Costco said it earned 2.01 a share on revenue of 34.4 billion, while analysts were looking at EPS of 1.69% and on revenue of 35.61 billion. February comparable sales rose 3.5% and subscription renewals in the US and Canada were 90.7% in the quarter, and adjusted e-commerce sales grew 25.5%. So looking at that right there, we could tell the e-commerce side of it was really good. That was kind of like one of the standout points from the actual earnings report, was that e-commerce side of it. That's really good growth from that sector overall. Earnings wise, I mean, the revenue was quite a nice beat. The EPS was definitely a nice beat overall. So the earnings were really strong, and when we've looked into like a lot of the companies in the retail sector, a lot of them have been quite weak recently. So it's good to see a retail company actually report really good earnings overall. The fundamentals of its company overall, so obviously it's on a little bit of a jump right now, and normally I do say don't buy a company after an earnings jump. If it goes down after earnings, then it's a good time to buy, but after it goes up in earnings, I potentially don't recommend us buying it there. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. The stock itself is at $227 per share, so it's a little bit more of the expensive stock. P is 31, which for a retail stock is definitely high. You know, when we look at a lot of the P's for a lot of the retail stocks currently, they're more down towards like the in teens range, and being a 31p, that's quite high. Dividend side of it, a low dividend for a retail company. It's only a 1% dividend yield, so it's not really a dividend stock with that sort of yield. The EPS grows 6.8%. This is between the coming up year, so you know when you're investing into a stock, you kind of want to know how a stock's going to go ahead of time, not what's happened. And looking at EPS side of it, we can expect Costco to grow an EPS rate of 6.8% going forward. Revenue side of it, exactly the same. We expect that to grow at 6.8%. I've actually never seen a stock actually have the same EPS and revenue growth, but there we are. Looking into the fundamentals of the company was actually pretty good. There's hardly any debt on there, quite a bit of cash. The balance sheet was pretty good, so I was happy with that. And because of having that much cash, we can kind of see that the dividend will grow, which is always a good sign for a company that if they're growing that dividend. Potentially a couple of buybacks, we'll see, but the balance sheet's in a healthy position and the dividend will grow, which is always a good thing for a company. So for me, is Costco a buy? Would I recommend Costco as a buy? To be honest with you, I think the company is actually a really good company, especially in the retail sector. You know, we have a lot of retail companies that are really struggling right now, and Costco isn't struggling at all. As a buy wise, like, I do like the company, and I don't think it's, you know, going to go downhill going forward like potentially some of the retail companies could do. But Costco, it just seems slightly overvalued for me. Like, it's on a jump, so I won't buy on a jump. The P, I'd like to be more towards like the 20 range, potentially lower. If I played it as a dividend play, it doesn't have the dividend yield that I would want either. But the EPS revenue and balance sheet side of it is pretty good overall. So potentially Costco right now, I think Costco's slightly overvalued for me to get into, especially for a retail company to be trading at a 31p. And it doesn't pay the dividend side as well for it, so it would have to have this kind of growth, a bit of a lower P for me to get into it. But it's not a bad stock, you know. If this stock was to drop down a little bit and have a big discount, if we saw like a 10% drop, then I would get into it. And I do really like the company overall, and if you were holding the shares, then that's probably a good purchase. Like, over time, this stock is definitely going to go up from now. I just think that, are you buying it at quite a high price? I think so. And could you get something else a little bit cheaper with a better return? I think so. So I don't think it's a bad company. Just for me, it's just slightly overvalued in my opinion. So that's why I won't invest in this company right now. But if there was a dip, you know, potentially I could look into buying into it at some point. So that's my video of Costco today, guys. Talk about the earnings slightly, and if it's a buy, talk about the fundamental side of it as well. And that was my opinion on it, guys. I hope it informed you, give some information if you're looking to get into it, getting into Costco and investing into it and buying some shares. Thanks for watching. Give the video a like, subscribe, and this week I'll probably be talking about 2 new stocks I'll probably buy this week. There's definitely 1, maybe 2 that I'll be buying, so make sure you keep an eye out for that one, and I'll see you in the next video.